Hello, everybody. This is Terry with your super harvest moon in Aries, where challenges can bring us superpowers, or so we hope. And this lunar cycle, boy, we are still in that eclipse portal that started way back with that first new moon Virgo. And then we had that blood moon lunar eclipse leading to the second blue new moon in Virgo, where we had the solar eclipse. And this Aries supermoon, we're still soaking in Eclipse Portal because that blue new moon in Virgo was the beginning of this waxing into this full moon. And we won't really be out of this Eclipse Portal until this Aries super harvest moon goes completely waning, and we have that next Libra new moon coming in. I think it's October 17th, bringing us harmony. And I will just be sighing the biggest sigh of relief when we get to that new moon Libra, because it will mean this eclipse portal that we've been in, it feels like forever, will finally be over. But for now, the veil is still thin, and we still have that powerful magic triangle, that magic trine between Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto, with Pluto just about to station direct. It's so powerful. On this full moon, I have such such optimism and fear of this full moon. There's some volatile energy and a call for spiritual protection. If you pray, this would be a moon you might want to pray, or just call in your guides and guardians, call in your guardian angels. I really truly believe in angels. Let me know in the comments if you believe in angels, because I am calling in my guardian angels to create this golden dome of energetic protection around my family, myself, my house. I just feel like this Aries supermoon is coming in so powerful. The supermoon means it's closer to Earth. So it's going to shine bigger and brighter. You might want to get out and see it on October 6th, 8:47 p.m. if you're in the Pacific Northwest like me. It is really going to bring some intense lunar energy in the sign of Aries, where we begin again. And this will create an even greater effect on things like the ocean tides. And we have king tides happening here in the Pacific Northwest. But I worry about greater geomagnetic energy because I am so afraid of this Cascadia subduction zone all year. I haven't even wanted to go to the Oregon coast because I just feel like something is gonna happen on that Cascadia subduction zone. And I know so many people who live in the Pacific Northwest have been feeling this too, telling me, oh, I have this bad feeling. Even my sister-in-law was like, I have a bad feeling that this is gonna happen. So many of us are having earthquake headaches. I grew up in Northern California where you get a special kind of headache. We call it earthquake headache, and you just know an earthquake is coming. And I've had an earthquake headache, and there's been a lot of barometric shifts, and it just feels like weird weather. And this will be the 13th moon, which is so significant. In the Mayan calendar, they celebrate the 13th moon as having even greater supernatural powers. This is a time when we can connect with our ancestors. This is a time we can get divine messages coming through. So this will be an excellent super moon for doing some kind of magical moon ceremony. And I will be hosting a Reiki circle for anyone who's taken Reiki 1 or above. If you live in Central Oregon, I'm going to be back at the Heart Grounds Healing Center on October 6th. I've barely even advertised it because I sort of let some of my Reiki students know, and it's almost filled up. But we will just be gathering to do Reiki healing on Monday, October 6th. It's a beautiful way to celebrate this 13th moon. If you can get together, maybe you want to gather around a bonfire and throw out pieces of paper, just releasing whatever you need to let go of from this whole past year. Because this super moon in Aries is a culmination of everything you've been working on for the past year, the past 13 moons. So it's like a year and a month. And so that takes us all the way back to when we had that Libra Aries axis and we were having those eclipses. And now we have this Aries supermoon connecting us back to 2024. And what were you working on with those Libra Aries eclipses that we had all last year? If you watch my eclipse videos, maybe I'll drop them down in the description one more time, just because it tells you so much about this Libra Aries axis where this moon is. And if you watch those videos, it's all about the balance between what I want, me, my wants, my needs, my own personal needs. That is Aries, right? Aries is the baby. Aries, some people say Aries is selfish, but you wouldn't call a baby selfish. The baby's just trying to get their needs met. They need that bottle. They need to take a nap. They need their diaper changed. So the Aries is like, I need my personal needs to be met. And then Libra is the house of relationships and the scales of justice. And Libra is about how much am I willing to give and to sacrifice for my relationship? How much do I want to give to others? And how will I take care of my own needs as I'm being a caregiver? And I know so many people, so many moms, and so many friends are in this caregiver role where maybe you're taking care of children, but you're also taking care of your parents or you're taking care of your pets. And where so many women, particularly, are caregiving and they're exhausted and they're not taking care of their own personal needs. They're not getting the self-care and the healing. So, there's just a lot of old stuff coming back from last year to be processed and released around our own personal needs being met and also being a caregiver, taking care of others. And it's just hard to get that balance just right. And I just started reading the most amazing book. I'm actually listening to it on Audible. It's called The Unexpected Journey, and it's all about caregiving and how to care for yourself. And I just had a major glitch. I don't know what just happened, but the internet, we are in a storm, which is all about this Aries supermoon. It's so funny. Art imitating life or something, because we have this thunderstorm coming in where I live right now. And that is what we're going to talk about with the Sabian symbols. It's about spiritual protection during a storm, and our world is collectively in a storm. But right before I glitched out, I don't know if you caught this. I'm just going to re-record because I have so many massages today and I just got to roll with it. And I'm reading this book called Unexpected Journey, and it's all about being a caregiver and how to care for yourself, that you need to care for yourself when you are caring for others. Healer, heal thyself. I will drop it in the description. It is just the perfect read on this Aries supermoon that's on that Libra Aries axis where we try to balance our own personal needs, healing our own wounds with that CHIRON coming in strong, and also caring for others and the responsibility of being a caregiver. And in Ayurvedic astrology, this will be such an auspicious supermoon that is in the Sharad Purnima, just after Navaratri, the 9 nights of the goddess. And I have been celebrating the goddess. I've been singing to Lakshmi. I've been, trying to release with Durga and Kali and all of the goddesses. I've been really trying to cover it. I've been popping a couple of them in my shorts. If you watch my shorts, and the moon's energy is thought to be at its ultimate peak just after Navaratri, the divine feminine goddess week, where we celebrate the divine goddess in the Hindu culture. And it's at its peak, and it's also a super moon, and it's also the 13th moon. This is a big deal moon. And the moon's rays are at their most powerful, giving us those healing properties. This is the best moon of the year to make your blue moon water. I always put moon in blue bottles and place it out for the water in blue. Did I say the moon in blue bottles? Water in the blue bottles, and you place it out for the moon over 24 hours. I have so many of these blue bottles. I am going to do a giveaway. I'm going to give away some of these blue bottles. I have some new ones. They're just beautiful. And you put your water in and then you put it out in the moonlight and it makes moon water. So I will do that. If you want a blue bottle, I have about 8 I could give away. And I'm going to just say, drop your name in the comments and I'll give those away. And this Aries supermoon will be an opportune time to focus on purification, purifying your water, releasing whatever you need to let go of, and create brand new ambitious goals, a new path ahead. Because the nakshatra that we are in, this is Ayurvedic astrology, is in Ravati. I don't always do Ayurvedic astrology, but it was so auspicious for this moon. I have to bring it in. Ravati rules this moon and it relates to closures, endings, and rebirth. It's right at the pinnacle between Pisces and Aries. We just had that Pisces full moon last month, that Pisces blood moon eclipse, right? Where so many things were ending, releasing, letting go, surrendering to the process. If you haven't watched my Pisces blood moon eclipse, go back and watch that because it's big work that was done last month. We could still be doing that work to get ready to be ready because now we're entering Aries, but we're right in that in between, that liminal space between death and rebirth that we've been in for a while. And so it relates to closures, endings, and rebirth, the potential, the seed of something new that hasn't fully been expressed. We don't really know what's coming next. And our whole world is feeling that. It's like, oh my God, what is coming next? We are definitely seeing the old paradigm crumble away. And we may even have a government shutdown this week. And things are like ending. Old ways are diminishing to make way for this new way forward, which hasn't really come in yet because we're just at that precipice between the old ways and the new ways. So it's a time for letting go of the past, to welcome in new beginnings, to welcome in the new way forward, the new paradigm. And Ravati is ruled by Mercury. Mercury rules the mind, and Mercury is coming in so strong. This supermoon, I'm going to talk a bunch about Mercury and what he's up to. And Ravati offers us divine spiritual protection in the midst of big change. Whew, that is where we are. And this will tie into the Sabian symbol at the end. I'm going to talk about this need for spiritual protection in a storm. And I'm in a storm right now. It's starting to thunder and lightning and rain right outside my window. It's crazy. So, anyways, getting back to Aries, let's talk about Aries for a minute. Let me know if you're an Aries. I love my Aries friends. Aries, you kind of seem like you're new here, you know? You're still learning everything. You're just like a baby taking its first steps, really needing to learn how to navigate this world. And so I love Aries friends. I love to be like a guide and a teacher for some of my Aries friends. And Aries rules over the head, and I can always recognize an Aries at a party, even if I don't know this person, because they will have a scar on their forehead. Aries, the ram, they're always ramming into walls with their big foreheads. They usually have those jutting foreheads, jutting eyebrows. If you meet somebody with strong jutting eyebrows and a big forehead and a scar, you could say, "Hey, are you an Aries?" And nine times out of 10, yes, you will be accurate. So this super moon, I feel like I need to say, mind your head. Like they have in London when you get on the subway, it says mind your head so you don't bunk your head. You might bunk your head this super moon. This cycle, not only can we see head injuries, but we can also see mental overwhelm, mental exhaustion, processing too much information. So many people are doom scrolling. I have a friend and a client, Reiki client who is, she's an influencer and she spends all her time on social media. I just refuse to be on social media or even YouTube that much. I can't get on here and post 3 to 5 times a day. Like I know that these platforms want you to do to become a big time influencer. I'm good if I can do twice a month, honestly, because it's just not good for your psyche. So you might need to take a break because our brains were not designed to be posting 3 to 5 times a day. And our brains were not designed for all this news and all this global insanity coming at us. We might just want to unplug, turn your phone off at night. Just don't answer the text. Maybe just give yourself that mental health break for this super moon. We might want to wear a helmet and turn our phones off, and because we have a powerful Mercury, ruler of the mind, ruler of communication, Mercury in Libra, where Mercury is not so powerful in Libra. And Mercury in Libra will be squaring Jupiter in Cancer and opposing Chiron, where the moon will also cross over Chiron and come into conjunction with Chiron during this super powerful supermoon. So this is going to be Mercury opposite Chiron is like we need to talk about, communicate, think about our wounds, our deepest wounds. Chiron, the wounded warrior, healer, wants us to think about and talk about our deepest wounds, bring them up to be processed and released. And this Chiron transit is creating a T square. Ooh, T square, so intense. T square between Chiron, Mercury, Jupiter around healing those deep wounds so that we can manifest our desire. Jupiter wants us to manifest our heart's desire. Jupiter, the king in Cancer, wants to give you everything you want, especially if you're a Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio. This is a great time to ask Jupiter for, to make your wishes come true. But Jupiter says you can't manifest your desire until you heal those deepest wounds. Like maybe we're feeling like we don't deserve to have what we want, and that is keeping us blocked from receiving what the universe has been trying to give us all along. If we could just get into that receiving mode and increase our ability to have it all by clearing the energetic blocks with Reiki and energy clearing, you can clear those blocks, those old wounds, maybe from your childhood or wherever you've been wounded. Maybe you were wounded in love, in a relationship, in a bad work situation. So it's a lot of heavy lifting, healing work to be done. And this is what I will call a crunchy transit. Crunchy, right? It's crunchy. Someone asked me in the comments, what does crunchy mean? Because I said squares are crunchy. This is not going to be a comfortable moon. It's not a comfortable transit. This is like your boss calling you on the weekend to yell at you for something. This is something that's going to trigger your deepest childhood wounds, something that is being thrown into a negative situation out into the world that you were not expecting to happen. I mean, you're at the grocery store and suddenly you're being triggered by a complete stranger. It's that kind of weird, ugh. Crunchy means I'd rather not do this right now. I'd rather not be triggered right now. So, not great. And then Mercury moves into Scorpio on October 6th, right as this moon is full and squares Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto in Aquarius forming a yod. That yod is the hand of God. This is destiny calling. This is a fated moment. You can't get out of it. It's gonna happen. Something's gonna happen on this full moon. Um, yeah, when Mercury squares Pluto, forming a yod with Neptune and Uranus, that activates that magic triangle that wants you to step into your power, to stand up straight, and really become everything you're meant to be in this lifetime. These squares and yods combined, it will be a forced becoming, a forced birthing of your truest self, where something happens in your life and you simply have to act in the moment. I feel like an emergency could come up. This is like emergency. You have to make a change. It's not a fun opportunity like a trine. I prefer trines. I always say more sextiles than trines, less squares. And this yod that is being formed with Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus, this is that hand of God determining your outcome. It's spirit making you rise in power for your very survival now. And you will gain superpowers from this yod. You will gain the superpowers from the situation, but it won't be all rainbows and unicorns. It'll be more of a dig deep until you find that inner strength to carry on. Your resistance is futile because this is destiny calling. This is a fated moment where you must rise to your superpower and gain strength. This is a fated moon. You can hide under your bed, but whatever it is, it's probably still going to happen. I want to hide under my bed on this one. This can bring up a lot of activism, rebellion, and aggression, war energy, which we are seeing in our world, especially as we are going to enter a second tree wood star month. We will be entering the fast growing three wood star in October. I'll do a separate 9 star key report, but the three wood star is the warrior. And we've got Chiron, the wounded warrior healer. This is a moon that says you must be a spiritual warrior now. But when I think of warrior, I also think of Putin because Putin is a three wood star. Putin is a warrior too. And he's going to be moving into his hurricane month as all three wood stars, myself included. I'm a three wood star. We will be moving into the hurricane. And Lord help Ukraine when Putin is in his hurricane and he is empowered and he finds his superpower. What will he use it for? We may see more war, more violence in our world this month. Sadly, it is just sort of inevitable looking at these transits. Ooh. So stay safe from harm. Imagine that golden dome of protection surrounding you and your loved ones this supermoon. And I personally don't want to be out in the world for this one because there's just this volatile energy here just as Pluto stations direct, where he brings his most powerful, transformative energy. I'll take my big changes at home on my couch with a cat on my lap. Thank you very much, universe. I do not want to engage with crazy out in the world or even online. I want to just unplug, stay home, close the curtains, and go within. And we are moving into a more internal season where the trees bring all their energy back into their roots. It's time to root down at home, calling your energy back in, focusing on your visions. What is your highest vision for this time? What are your dreams telling you? What is your spiritual calling right now? And how can you weave your desires into your relationships with your family and friends so you can create that balance and equilibrium because it is Libra season. We want to come back to balance and equilibrium in our world. And we can have some deep soul connection this month and communication with our loved ones coming from the heart, right? This lunar cycle, we got to connect into our heart, breathing into our heart, doing Reiki for your heart chakra. Just stay heart center. And this is a time to explore your shared path with your partner, family, friends, or anyone you want to be with as we collectively will begin again in Aries. So use this time to make sure your future goals and your destiny aligns together with your loved ones, with your family, with your friends, to find out how you can support each other moving forward in this Libra season. We seek harmony in our relationships, harmony in our family, getting that work-life balance just right, getting a good schedule so your work-life balance supports you and your family and your friends and your clients. Um, this is a really good time to check in on your shared direction within your relationship. Get ready to plant those seeds of intention for the Libra new moon that will come on October 17th when this whole eclipse portal is finally done. We can plant new seeds for a new beginning that will bloom and bear fruit in the spring of 2026. And what will you grow forth next year? So it's kind of a lot. I would just stay home, root down, be with loved ones, and let's look at the Sabian symbol for this full moon in Aries. And I'm also going to do readings for all 12 signs. I'm going to do them in a separate report, so stay tuned for that one. The Sabian symbol for this super harvest moon Aries, 8 degrees, 8, that infinity symbol. 8 brings abundance. 8 is my lucky number. My numerology, my birth date equals 8. So I love 8. And 8 is in Aries is a large woman's hat with streamers blown by an eastern wind. And the keynote is protection and spiritual guidance in a storm. And a woman's head is covered by a large hat, a protection against the forces of nature, as a great openness to the sky energies. And the spiritual level brings in the forces of life. This symbolic strong wind brings psychic forces and divine interventions. And that veil is thin. We've got higher beings wanting to help us. And the streamers on her hat respond to the wind. And we are in that tree that bends in the wind until October 8th. So we are still in the tree that bends in the wind in 9-star key. And now we have streamers on a hat responding to the wind. It totally ties in to the 9-star key. And there's a higher spiritual force here that arises, powers of the mind, Mercury, Jedi mind powers. The spiritual force arises, powers of the mind that are both protected and influenced by spiritual energies that offer us all protection from the storm. Whew. I I love that Sabian symbol. It gives me great hope that I'll be okay sitting at home on my couch with my cat on my lap, where I'm going to be hiding out from this very volatile Aries supermoon. And I hope you will too. And I will see you next time. Stay tuned for the Every Sign report coming up next.